we were talking about it, and he was like, "Bro, we should put it in there." I was like, "All right, let me listen to it." And
Yeah,
I listened to it like 3 or 4 times, and I was like, "Yeah, just keep it.
yeah.
It's a dope album,"
I mean,
you
it's a
know?
good little homage, and I mean, it's like he makes completely different music from what you do too. It's
Oh, yeah,
kind of
agreed.
interesting how that helps with a project and all that stuff too. So
Yeah, my engineer is a big Jeezy fan, so,
yeah,
so I think that was, like, his first instinct once he heard it. He was like, "Bro, we should put a Jeezy ad-lib in here." I'm
yeah,
like, "Alright, I guess,
yeah,
yeah, I
it
like where your
fits.
head's at."
It fits. Welcome everybody. You stumbled upon the YouTube page that talks a lot about a little, and today I'm here to talk a little bit with Duhon, another California rapper or musician. Even I don't even want to really call you guys rappers because you do more than just rap. But how are you, man?
Man, I'm doing good. Just trying to stay cool out here. It's hot, so
Yeah,
just trying to stay cool as best as I can, man.
yeah. It's been crazy over in Michigan lately. I got rained out at practice earlier, so but we've been going up to like 80 and then back down to 60, and I wish it was steady.
A roller coaster. I know. I hear you on that.
So, speaking of the temperature and all that, so where exactly are you from in California?
So I live in this like weird city called Menifee, California. It's
Manatee.
not really the most known city in California. Usually people are like, "Oh, San Diego, Los Angeles, or San Francisco," you know.
Right.
So I kind of have to like break it down to where it's like, okay, I live 45 minutes from San Diego, but I live an hour and a half from LA, and they're like, "Oh, okay." So kind of like in the middle. I'm like, "Yeah, I guess if
Yeah.
you want to say that."
You still
But
coastline?
yeah, not really. Not
No.
really. I mean, I'm close enough to the beach, you know, but I'm like a good enough way to like the mountains that are snowing as well, which is kind of like the best of both worlds, which
Yeah.
is dope.
Yeah, that is sweet. So, being from that area, like it sounds like you have all kinds of stuff that you can do. Like you can go snowboarding and then go to the beach in the same day type of stuff. How did
Right.
that like shape the person that you are now?
I mean, honestly, like I moved at an age where it was kind of tough, you know, trying to like make friends.
Yeah.
'Cause I ended up leaving in 6th grade and then being in 7th grade at another middle school. So it was just kind of like a whole like shift where I was like, okay, like how am I gonna who am I gonna who's gonna end up being my like friend group, you know?
Yeah.
So I think growing up out here was definitely a culture change because it gets really, really hot out here and then it gets really, really cold. So it's like not like your typical San Diego, like,
Yeah.
oh, this is beautiful weather kind of thing.
So,
Um,
where are you from before then?
I used to live in San Diego. So
Okay.
I used to live in San Diego, and then once I moved out here, it was just kind of like, okay, I don't want to live
Yeah.
here anymore, you know.
Yeah. I
So I
had
mean, it was
kind of a similar thing actually. In middle school, in eighth grade, I moved and went to a completely different high school. So I was like going through that same type of thing. And the
right.
culture shock is a little different for me because it wasn't like a far move or anything. But the middle school that I was at and elementary school and everything, it was like pretty diverse when it comes to like
Mm,
people. Like I had friends that
right.
were Mexican, friends that were black, friends that were Asian, just everything. And then I moved to the whitest place of all white that white can be. Like I'm dead serious, man. I graduated with like I want to say 450 people, and there
Mm.
was four people that weren't white.
Oh, so that was definitely
So it
you
was
stick
like,
out. You stick
yeah, dude,
out.
it was weird. I'm used to like going to school and being like, hey, what's up, what's up, and then I'll go to school here, and I'm like, why does everyone look kind of like me? This is weird.
Right.
So
Right. No, but I think like one thing as far as like shaping me from living out here, I think it got me to this chance of like expanding my music, you know, as far as just like listening wise.
yeah,
Like I think when I was growing up in San Diego, like it was just a lot of hip hop, like pop radio and stuff like that. Now I kind of listen to more rock, more funk, more like kind of like EDM house music. Like so it just kind of bounces all over the place.
yeah,
But no, yeah, I think out here living in California, you know, it's such a melting pot.
mm,
You get like you get a lot of cultures as far as just as far as like people goes, you know? So I think that's one thing you don't miss out on when living in California, because regardless if you go from southern to central to northern California, you're gonna have your diverse
Yeah.
environments. So I mean, yeah, I think that's one way I think it would definitely have shaped me from living out here 100%.
Heck yeah. So you had kind of touched on it a little bit. I kind of meant to ask Corey this question too, but
Mm.
is California really as gorgeous as like everyone makes it sound? Like you were mentioning mountains not far from you, the beach not that far from you, and you said your time in San Diego is like always pretty nice. So what's that
I
like,
mean,
dude? Like,
I think so. I think reason why a lot of people like living out here is just because of the weather. I think you can't beat it. Literally, like right now, I'm looking outside and it's a little windy, but I mean it's clear skies. So
right?
I mean, like you know what I mean. So like
Yeah.
in other areas, if it's windy, it's raining or it's gloomy
Yup.
or it's just completely horrible.
Yup.
But I think people definitely pay for the weather out here, as expensive as it gets.
Mm.
Um, what else? I mean, there's a lot of things about
I mean,
California.
the thing that's going through my head like right now is the older Kendrick song. I forget what song it for sure it is, but
Oh, the
women, weed, and
recipe. It's
weather. The
literally
recipe.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
Literally like those three exact things is I mean Kendrick put it to a key,
He summed it
you know,
up.
and I think that's why people can't like it's hard for people who grew up in California to like leave California with such like without hesitation, you know.
Right. Yeah. That makes
Without
sense.
some thought of like, okay, where do I end up moving that's similar to California but not California?
Mm.
But I think it's tough. I think it's tough, especially me being a Southern California kid. I don't think it'll take a lot for me to actually move to another
Right.
state, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but I don't mind getting out of that like comfort zone, you know,
Yeah.
and finding a new
Pushing yourself.
environment to live in. Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's why I got the Great Lakes tattooed on my arm as just like kind of like a home thing. I don't plan on staying in Michigan my whole life, but
mhm.
we'll see.
Right.
So when did you like first start making music, and like who or what was it that kind of like pushed you into like, yes, I'm gonna start making music?
So as far as making music, I started probably when I was maybe 18. I think starting my freshman year of college. And then, but before then, I used to play the piano, like on and off.
Mm,
I started when I was like around like 5 or 6, I think, and then I kind of stopped, and then got back on it when I was around like maybe 14 or 15 in high school, and then I kind of just let it like drift away. But I think I always had like that music like instinct
yeah.
to want to make music, you know. I just didn't know exactly how to like what would my niche be as far as like making music, you know? Would it be producing? Would it be writing? Would it be singing, you know? So I think it started when I was 18, and it's funny. It's a funny story because my one of my classmates in high school, Tristan, he actually used to make music, and at first I didn't even know. I was like, oh, that's dope. So he started like getting me to that point
Yeah.
uh, of like, hey, bro, like if you want to record, you can record your songs here. Like he knew that I wrote music at like my freshman year of college, and he was like, hey, if you need like a microphone or like an interface or a laptop, like just let me know and we can record it. But I think music has always been embedded in my life. I actually had a friend who's not here anymore.
Mm,
Rest in peace.
yeah.
But my friend Joe was always like the person that used to nag me to want to do music, you
Mm,
know, because he did music himself. So I think when I was in high school and he first heard me sing, he was like, bro, like you should be on a track. And I was like,
right.
no, 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 no. Like this was just a one-time
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Like you're not supposed to tell anybody about this kind of thing, you know? But I think he was one of the main people that like really believed that like I could achieve something
Yeah.
of that like stature.
Yeah.
Um, but but no, yeah, my as far as music has always been there. I think it was just a matter of me actually like accepting it and just be like, okay, like
Actually
maybe music
pursuing.
is, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe music is the pathway, you know?
Right. I mean, it
So,
sounds like the doors opened a couple times for you, type of thing, with your buddies being
right,
like, "Yo, let's come on, like let's do this,"
right,
you know.
exactly,
Just-
right, exactly. So
Sometimes that's just the push you need occasionally, you know. So
agreed.
other than those buddies helping you out, shout out Tristan and R.I.P. Joe. Um, who like musically influences you? Like you mentioned rock. I used to listen to like a lot of rock. I know I got all hip hop up here, but I had to do
Yeah,
the Cali love a little bit, and then I love Mac Miller too. So, but
right.
who like musically influences you?
Um, so I mean, to start off, like my first three off the top of my head would probably be Wayne, Eminem, and Kendrick. Those are like my main three.
Yeah,
Like if those three were in a room right now, I would trip out. I'd be like,
right. Yeah,
like this is a dream. This is fake.
I mean that's a hell of a three though, and
Um,
I got a bunch of Eminem over there too. I just didn't.
yeah.
There's
See.
all kinds of vinyls going on. I mean Michigan, man. I got to do that.
Oh yeah. So yeah,
But
you have to.
yeah,
You know, like
exactly.
that's a staple.
It's a staple, man.
But
It's like it's why because that three is like just a monstrous three. You know, that's like
yeah,
the three that I would say we're probably the same age, I assume, if not like 1 or 2 year different. But
right,
that's
right,
like that's the age of hip hop that we grew up on and kind of revived hip hop as a genre as it is. So like
exactly,
you gotta
exactly.
put them in.
But yeah, as
Um.
far as other inspirations, I mean, I'm a big Prince fan. I
Oh.
think Prince is probably one of the greatest artists of all time.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I enjoy Stevie Wonder a lot. Um, I've been kind of slowly getting into Freddie Mercury.
Okay.
I think one thing I enjoy a lot is just his performance value. I think he's able to, I mean, rest in peace. He
Right.
was able to just to get a crowd just like that,
Snapped
like
in and locked in. Yeah.
second. So a lot of Freddie Mercury, a lot of Queen, a lot of just classic rock, and then kind of like 2000s rock too.
Okay. Like
Like a
some
lot of Creed. So I mean,
3 Days
list goes
Grace
on,
and
you
all
know.
that.
So, yeah. So
Yeah.
but, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of music, you know, that I've dabbled into, and I think over time, you know, listening to because I was a radio kid as well. So like my parents would only play the radio.
Yep.
Like whatever was
It
on
was
there,
on
and that's
there.
what
Yep.
until we had like a CD or two, you know, just to
Right.
like listen to. But but yeah, no, it's cool just like discovering new music and just new genres and just kind of like clicking onto that genre and just
Yeah.
like, oh, this is something that I want to listen to like for the rest of my life kind of thing.
Do you
So yeah.
think do you think that's gonna like kind of change your music path, being more into rock and all that type of stuff now? Like, are you gonna kind of
Yeah.
go like this? There's kind of like a alternative hip hop wave going on right now, and I mean, I'm loving it. I like a lot of this. I'm not
Right.
talking about Machine Gun Kelly. I'm talking about
Yeah,
like
yeah,
other people, you
yeah.
know. So
Like I know where your head's
yeah,
at. I
yeah,
know where your
okay,
head's
good. I'm
at.
glad
Yeah,
we're on the
yeah.
same page. But yeah, is that gonna take its space in your music a little bit?
So I think yes. I think having a lot of influences and a lot of like inspirations just from listening different genres. I'm definitely a person that's like all over the place when it comes to how I want my music.
Right.
Like for instance, I was just with a couple of my music friends like last week, and I was like listening to some beats that they were doing, and I was like I want to do an indie album, you know? Like I was just thinking like, dang, like I want to do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right now I'm trying to tackle this house hip hop wave.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out it's tough, but I mean it's something that I'm willing to like challenge and hopefully achieve to my satisfaction, you know?
Yeah.
Uh, but to answer that question, yeah, I think when I listen to a specific genre of music, I think it gets to the point where I'm like, okay, I listened to this enough to the point where I can A, either mimic this and make my own rendition of it, or B, start from scratch and literally just make a whole new song, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's the cool part about how I like view music, just from an artist standpoint.
Yeah. And that makes sense. You got to kind of grab the pieces that you're like that get your ear, and then you got to push it out a little bit differently too. Kind of still on the influences. This is more of just a curiosity thing, but do you listen to Smino?
Smino, yeah,
Yeah, Smino.
I listen to a lot of Smino.
Okay.
Smino's dope. Smino's dope.
All
I
right.
listen to like that whole like Chicago wave. Like,
Yeah,
and I mean,
I'm
he's from
digging
St. Louis,
St.
but
Louis. Yeah,
he's like, yeah,
it's pretty
but
much
he's
Chicago though.
like, yeah, no, he's Smino's definitely somebody that I listen to, and it's like, how does he, how does he
Yeah,
like bend his words? Like, because he bends his words a lot,
yeah, he really
and I
does. And
think that's
that
really
was one thing I was gonna kind of bring up is like your beats as you go, and we're gonna do a second video just so everyone knows about Sorry Summer. I wrote it right here. Sorry Summer, EP, Duhon, hooray. I'm covering it up every time. I need to figure out my seating situation. But either way, you guys got it kind of got like a grooviness to you that's similar, but you guys are saying stuff too. You know, like a
yeah.
lot of the rappers that have that groovy kind of like lo-fi type sound that you had in here a little bit,
Mhm.
they don't really got a whole lot to say. They're just letting the beat
Yeah,
do their talking really.
right.
But like you actually got lyrics in your stuff, and like he's got lyrics in his stuff too. You know, that's I think that's what sets like you and him apart from these type of artists that are
Mhm.
just here's a sound, lyrics don't matter. You know,
Right, right. And I think it's funny. I've had that comparison a couple times, just
it's
from
a good
certain people. They're
comparison.
like, "Oh, your style is like similar to Smino's," or like
Yeah.
the way you like your music is definitely like a Smino vibe. So I think, I mean, I'll take it as a
Oh,
compliment.
it's a yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah.
It's a compliment, man.
If someone is putting me in that industry level
Yeah,
of
dude.
like comparison, okay, I know I'm doing
We
something
just got to
right.
get the name out a little bit more. That's all we got to do.
That's the only thing, man. And I think it's within time,
Yeah.
like within time. And I think my motto usually is just one fan at a time.
Mm,
And I think I'd rather have 2,000 loyal fans than a million followers that are just kind of just
there.
lurking, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So I think it's more so quality when it comes to fans and quantity.
Mm,
But I mean, there's no obviously we want quantity as well.
right. Yeah.
Um, the quality matters though,
Yeah.
100%.
Well, hopefully we get you some good Michigan based fans out here.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
So, who are some artists that you would like to work with that maybe are a little bit bigger, or maybe some local ones for you that you would like to work with? And then
Mhm.
after you mention them, why don't you just kind of give us some names that we should be listening to?
Okay, cool. So I've always wanted to work with Justin Timberlake. I think that's one artist I've always wanted to work with. Um, I mean, Kendrick is up there too. Kendrick's an artist I would love to work with. I always wanted to work with Schoolboy Q. I always thought that would be like a really interesting. I just saw your album cover. I was
Yeah.
just like, damn, you haven't put an album in a minute. But I've always wanted to work with Q. I've heard people tell me I kind of sound like him as far as like when I do my like aggressive rapping.
Mm,
I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
I can see it because you guys kind of both have like an unorthodox type of flow sometimes that you
Right.
rock with. Yeah.
Um, Dominic Fike's another artist I would like to work with. I think I'm a big Dominic Fike fan.
Okay.
I mean, the list goes on. Honestly, I mean,
Right.
it would be cool for the artist to even like acknowledge that, like that I
Right.
make music and that they're listening to me, like, and I'm on their radar.
Yeah.
So I mean, if I could get that opportunity, just like organically and just by itself, then I mean, kudos to me.
Right.
Uh, but those are like some of my goals as far as like big features would probably be Justin Timberlake.
That
I
would be
think that's
sweet.
just one artist I've always listened to from a kid on.
He's a very
And
talented musician just
yeah,
overall
very,
too.
very
So
talented.
like
So
he's not Prince. I'm not gonna say that. Prince is
no,
like one
no,
of the
yeah,
greatest
yeah,
musicians like ever to live. Like
right.
I just heard like you probably know it, but for the people that don't know it, I think it was like his first album. He played like 23 different instruments on the album. So
Oh
like
yeah,
what are you gonna do with that? Like you can't
right.
you can't do anything. Like
He's
he's
making the
literally doing
music.
the whole album himself. Like
Like his credit is all him,
yeah,
just literally
it's
the whole
unreal.
time.
But like Justin Timberlake is like one of those guys, and it's kind of I didn't expect to hear that type of name, honestly. Like
Yeah.
that would be cool though. So I really appreciate this first off before we get into this last message of positivity. I like to ask everyone, just a positive message for people out there, because life has been just hectic the past however long, and there's literally like summer hasn't even started yet, and there's been like 8 mass shootings that have already happened and stuff. So
Jeez,
like, what's a
goodness.
positive message that we can throw out there for people?
You know, things get rough, and I think that people get overwhelmed a lot. I think one thing I like to do is try to just take it one day at a time, and the things that are out of your control, um, try not to put so much weight on it to think it's your fault. Um, Also, I mean, for me, it's. I mean, I mean, it's tough. It's tough because yesterday was just a lot.
Yeah, you're
Yesterday
talking
was
about
just
Texas, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yesterday was just a lot. Um, which and that's a whole other topic.
Right, right.
That's a whole other topic. But prayers definitely go out to everybody that lost a loved one,
Yeah,
because that stuff definitely hurts.
yeah. And
You
to
don't wake
everyone
up
involved.
expecting something like that to happen. So I think another positive message is, I mean, don't wait for tomorrow. You know, don't wait for tomorrow, because tomorrow isn't promised. So I mean, whatever you're trying to achieve, just go for it now. Um, so don't hold yourself back.
All
There,
right.
basically.
I like that. Don't hold yourself back. Keep them pushing. Thank you, guys. This is Duhon. Awesome. Thank you a lot. You can't even read it. I don't know why I'm pointing at it. Sorry Summer EP. All your favorite streaming services. Just go check it out. 8 songs. It's a good listen. And oh, that was one thing. I'm gonna give you another compliment real quick. That album, when I was listening to it, first track, I was like, yeah, I like this, but it just gets better as it goes. So just listen to it in order, because it's fun to do it that way, and
Please,
it gets better as it goes. Thank you so
please.
much, man. We got a part 2 video where we're going to take a deeper dive into the album, so be on the lookout for that.
Yup, yup.
I forgot something. If you guys like this video, go ahead and give it a like. It's super easy for you and it helps me a lot. Subscribe. I got a lot of new stuff coming out. I've been slacking on the vinyl reviews, but we'll have a couple coming out next week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go stream Sorry Summer by Duhon. We're going to be talking about it next week as well. Thank you guys again.